the year when everything started to fall apart. Michael Snyder, Economic Collapse blog reports, "It amazes me that so many people still cannot understand what is happening. 2022 was supposedly going to be a year when America entered a golden age of prosperity, but that did not happen. Instead, it was a complete and utter disaster. Stock prices fell by the most that we've ever seen since 2008. The cryptocurrency industry came apart at the seams. Inflation soared to absurd heights, and home sales just kept declining all throughout the year. Without a doubt, 2022 represented a major turning point. Americans have already collectively lost trillions of dollars, and many experts are telling us that 2023 will be even worse. We warned over and over again that the party on Wall Street would eventually come to a very bitter end, but most people didn't want to listen. Well, the party has now ended, and the stock market losses that we have witnessed over the past 12 months have been absolutely staggering. As of the closing time on Friday evening, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by nearly 3,500 points. That is huge. The points started the year, that's a 9.4% drop. The S&P 500 was also down 957 points this year, with a tech-heavy industry falling almost 20%, capping off a brutal year for the tech industry. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq sank by more than 5,600 points, a nearly 34% decline in 2022. More than a third of the entire value of the Nasdaq is already gone. Just think about it. Of course, some stocks were hit much harder than others. Tesla is down by a whopping 70% from the peak, and Elon Musk, quote, has become the first person ever to lose $200 billion from his net worth. Tesla CEO and chief Twitter Elon Musk has become the first person to ever lose $200 billion from his net worth, according to the Bloomberg report. Musk, 51 years old, previously became the second person ever to amass a fortune of more than $200 billion in January of 2021. After Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, Musk has now seen his wealth drop to $137 billion following a recent drop in Tesla shares. Musk saw his fortune peak in November 2021, hitting $340 billion, and held the title of the world's richest person up until last month. Musk was ultimately toppled off the throne by Bernard Arnault, CEO of French luxury giant LVMH. You have to give him credit for holding up so well under the circumstances. $200 billion is an amount of money that is so large that it's almost unimaginable. Facebook also got monkey hammered over the course of 2022. At this point, Facebook stock has fallen over 64% from where it was last January. On the last day of trading this year, Meta stock was down more than 64% compared to January, with prices sinking from over $338 a share to now $120 a share. The company has lost more than $600 billion in valuation as it spent billions to make its controversial leap to virtual reality, with its metaverse, with the efforts continuing to come up short. Perhaps Facebook should not have put so much effort into banning and censoring millions of their best users. What an incredibly stupid thing to do. When I go to Facebook these days, it just feels so incredibly dead. There's still a few die-hard users hanging around, but overall, it is just a pathetic hollow shell of a social media platform at this point. Speaking of implosions, 2022 was an absolute disaster for the cryptocurrency industry. The following summary of what we witnessed over the past 12 months comes from Zero Hedge. Among all the chaos and downfall of many crypto exchanges and leading venture capital firms, the biggest losers are crypto investors. If the burn of the bear market was not enough, millions of crypto investors who had their funds on FTX lost their life savings overnight. Terra was once a $40 billion ecosystem. Its native token, Luna, now known as Terra Classic, LUNC, is one of the top 5 biggest cryptocurrencies by market capitalization. With millions of customers invested in the ecosystem, the collapse brought their investment to zero within hours. After the Terra collapse, crypto investors lost their funds in a series of centralized exchanges and staking platforms like Celsius, BlockFi, and HoldNot. Crypto investors also lost significantly in the non-fungible token market, with the price of many popular collections down 70%. Overall, crypto investors are among the biggest losers of the year. The total value of all cryptocurrencies exceeding $3 trillion at the peak of the market. Now the total value of all cryptocurrencies has fallen to less than $1 trillion. Hopefully you get out before the crash happened. Hopefully you got out before the crash happened. 2022 was also a year when we experienced really painful inflation. Food prices, energy prices, and vehicle prices all went completely nuts, and many compared what we're going through to Jimmy Carter's era of the 1970s. But this should not have been a surprise to any of us. Starting in 2020, our leaders absolutely flooded the system with new cash, and the size of the money supply absolutely exploded. Increasing the size of the money supply so dramatically was inevitably going to cause prices to go haywire, and anyone that thought otherwise was just not being rational. In a desperate attempt to fight the inflation monster that they helped to create, officials at the Federal Reserve aggressively raised interest rates throughout much of 2022. As a result, we now find ourselves in the midst of another horrifying housing crash. Home values are now steadily receding all over the nation, and home sales have been falling month after month. Home sales have already fallen by more than a third. How much lower can they possibly go? I don't know, but we're being warned to brace ourselves for more hard times ahead. In fact, even the IMF is publicly admitting that the worst is yet to come. The worst is yet to come, they say, and for many people, 2023 will feel like a recession. This is what IMF said in October, noting the slowdown, saying it will be broad-based and many reopen economic wounds. It may reopen economic wounds that were only partially healed post-pandemic. If only they knew. We weren't just heading into a temporary economic downturn. Ultimately, the entire system is starting to fall apart all around us, and the years ahead are going to be incredibly challenging. Our leaders have been making mistake after mistake for decades, and now we get to pay the price. So buckle up and hold on tight, because 2023 is not going to be pleasant at all. This is by Michael Snyder. He says it's finally here. Michael's new book entitled End Times is now available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. About the author, he says, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled End Times is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending copies of gifts to families and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this About the Author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times, and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you've not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. I wish everyone a healthy, happy, prosperous, and peaceful new year. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box